All right, let's call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, co-op survey result discussion. Or results and discussion.
So as you see, 178 individuals answered. Of those 178, 53% would support a co-op, 27% would not, 19% are unsure. And then the next question is if they're concerned whether or not we move up a class in 8 years, and majority are not concerned by 60%, 27% somewhat concerned, 12% very concerned. The costs, 50-50 split was 33%, based on student numbers 60%, and other 6.25%. Home games, how they should be handled. Even split was the lowest at 11% or almost 12%. Based on student numbers is 21%. Mostly at Richardton-Taylor, 50%, and then other 17%. And then there's some other under there. But most of it was either all in Richardton or some in Richardton, or most in Richardton, I should say.
Quite a bit of comments on that one.
What's that?
Quite a bit of comments.
Yeah. Yeah. 30 comments out of 175 people answered. And then whether it's girls basketball only, all basketball, all sports and activities, and do not support a co-op. So all sports and activities was the highest at 51%. I kind of found it interesting that do not support a co-op at 18%. That's lower than the no's on the first page if they support the co-op. So I'm not sure where that came from. And then the rest are comments. What do you see it as the biggest benefit? And then what do you see or what concerns you the most? And then the last one is any other comments that they have. And really the comments are, there's a lot in favor and a lot against. So. I think most of the concerns are travel, having kids travel to Hebron and back, or how that will work. And then there was some concerns about playing time, if Hebron kids are going to take Richardton-Taylor kids playing time. Some concerns about not necessarily the cost sharing, but why is there a small number of girls out for girls basketball, and why are sports numbers kind of going down overall? The ones in favor were increased participation, more kids, more competition.
I was surprised there was nothing about like what age. Nobody said anything about what age to start. I think there was like one comment about that, like
Yeah.
what grade they wanted it to.
Yeah, I think there was one that said, well, I think I saw one where it said that it should be all ages.
Yeah, like the sooner the better.
And not just 7 through 12, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty tough.
I still, little ones. Yeah, I still am on the same page of being 7 to 12 because having that many little ones in one.
Yeah, if they're worried about varsity boys, I mean, that was brought up at the thing, and like how many kids would be in the gym with varsity sports, well,
Right.
way more in elementary,
Yeah.
and it'd be harder to teach that many kids actual fundamentals when they're that
Yeah,
little.
you'd need quite a few coaches. I did talk to Byron today, the superintendent, and I told him that was one of the concerns was elementary, and and he said that the way it looks, I don't know what sport he was talking about, but they may not be able to have a team, an elementary team. Nice, and I'm guessing it was girls basketball. I can't remember. But if that was the case, then I mean, if they didn't have a team, I know we talked about that night that they could come over and join ours if that was the case. And that's not part of the high school activities, so that's not even in the co-op language.
And like for basketball, there's like that was brought up at the meeting. There's more concern because there's not a lot of C squad teams, but like for volleyball, there's usually A, B, and C squad, right?
Usually, yeah.
Because there was a bigger number of girls.
Yeah. And there are some schools that are struggling with volleyball as well. So. But we were talking today, and like Minot, for example, they barely had enough to fill a team. And they're a AA school for girls basketball. It's just
I wonder how much that split hurt them.
yeah,
The numbers.
that could very well be
Well, tell me more on that. I mean, I frankly don't know a lot about basketball or anything. What do they mean by that? Like, what's the number to fill a team?
Well, you need at least 5,
Okay,
and then
so
you want
5
some
players.
subs. Yeah,
Okay. So they were saying that at their high school,
yeah.
they don't even have.
Well, they have 2 high schools now, so
Okay.
maybe like what John was saying, that the split. So half of the students went to the one, and
So I'm just trying to put this in perspective. So how many students would be in that, like, per school then?
I mean, they've got
They got a lot. 300 class size, I bet.
probably
So 1,500 students and they can't find 7 girls?
girls don't. They're just not interested in basketball, right? At this point in time,
yeah, it's across the country. It's girls
Interesting.
basketball is struggling.
I thought maybe with the college girls and the WNBA with can't think of her name right now, Katie, that maybe that would help pick it up a little bit, but maybe it's too early to tell. I don't know.
Well, I guess the long and the short of this whole deal is it seems that the majority is in favor. Like, I mean, quite a bit. Over double. And then obviously most of the games played at Taylor or Richardson. In all sports. I mean, it's kind of a breakdown of the survey. I was kind of surprised about the not concerned about moving up class. I figured there'd be more that were.
I was
Yeah.
really surprised at that
See,
too.
over the phone, I've had 3 or 4 reach out and say that that is a huge concern for them because they have kids that have played in football and they got annihilated, I guess, when they moved up, and they don't want our basketball teams and everything else to move up and play at more competitive schools and
Right.
to never win.
But 2 years ago, we were basically B was A and B. I mean, there wasn't a.
Yeah.
So we were playing the Hazens and the Beulahs and the Killdeers and everybody else anyway, and we were competing.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's just what their
Yeah.
concerns were, and I
Yeah.
I don't know
I mean,
that.
they're valid concerns for
Yeah.
sure.
A few questions on the survey itself, just doing the statistics. So on the first question, they had to pick one, right?
Correct.
Okay, so there was 178 respondents, right?
Right. It'll show, like, if you go to page 3.
Yeah.
There's only 176 that answered that one,
Okay.
so it says skip. 2 people skipped that question.
Sure. Okay. And even that last one, question before the how should games be handled was still just pick one.
Right, correct. They were, yep, all of them were select one.
What was this? All parents in the school district, or certain grades, or
All parents were sent it. All parents and guardians should have received it. Yep.
Dump the responses in the AI and have it summarize it for us. It's amazing what that does. I haven't had time to digest this yet, so.
That's probably how many people aren't educated, because there's 2 or 3 days that we need the co-op for at least football.
And yeah, we already have a
And
co-op
we've been
there.
co-op for how long with them
Yeah.
for football already?
How long has the football co-op been?
Oh,
it's been a long time.
it's been a long time.
Was that before you even started here?
When I started as principal, we were co-opted. So
Yeah, I knew we've
I
been a
don't
long
know
time,
how
but-
many years before that, but
And how long ago? When
2007.
So some of this I struggle with just because like I understand how sports work and I watch sports on TV, but there's quite a few comments in here that are saying like we need to figure out how to get equal playing time for our own students before we give other kids equal playing time. And I guess I don't know how that is. If you're on in a sporting team, like the idea is to win the game, so your better players are going to end up getting more time. So I just
Right.
the people that are saying that I struggle with, because I know your kid wants to be on the winning team as well, and
Yeah.
if that's the big concern, that your kids aren't going to play or they're going to get less time, other than practicing more and getting better, I don't see how this is going to make it worse or better for them.
Right. The philosophy here has been the lower grades, so elementary, we want them just to have fun. I mean, so we want to get the kids in as much playing time as we can, as equal as we can. Junior high, we still try to keep it equal. If it's a tournament, for example, though, kids want to win too. So we're going to try and do our best to win that tournament. So some kids are going to play more than others. But at the high school level, it's the coach has the authority to play who they feel is going to do the best.
So on that, I mean, and I've had more calls and comments on just this topic, which in my mind is actually separate of the co-op. And I almost see a little bit of the use of this co-op discussion as a platform to bring some of this to the board's attention, maybe even use some leverage. When you say it's a philosophy, I'm interested if we did a survey of coaches, what would come out of that. I do think that needs addressed. That coaching philosophy and what we've got going on, that needs addressed. And I think it needs to be addressed separate of the co-op.
I agree with the separate, but what part of it
Just
needs to be
a lot of comments around the coaching philosophy. So to your point, what are we for activities and what is our philosophy around activities? And what I mean is, I think a lot of our members of our community are here, maybe chose to live here instead of Dickinson, out of the idea that, hey, in a smaller school, my student who probably wouldn't even make a team in, say, Dickinson, will see more playing time in this athletics, okay? And so if that's your mindset, and see, I don't even have a dog in the fight, personal. I mean, my kids aren't even playing activities here, but this is just what I see and how I reconcile what we have going on. So when that's your mentality, then that's how we're getting that, hey, I'm actually more concerned about my kids' playtime. And because honestly, they might have made life choices to be in our district based on that, right? And we wouldn't be at the level we're at with student numbers in that of our district if we didn't have that. So that philosophy that you just went through, in my mind, should be almost somewhat formalized and adhered to a bit among our athletics, because if that's the expectation of our public, and I've always said, if you haven't defined your expectations, don't be surprised to get what you didn't expect, right? And so that piece of philosophy among our coaching and then who we have coach has to fit within that same philosophy of what our community kind of expects. Okay, so if we have a coach whose their philosophy is, look, you compete to get a position, and then by gosh, you play that position based on that competition. That probably fits in a district where that's more accepted than what we have going on right now.
So I can
I mean,
tell you
that's
that,
my observation.
that's one of the reasons we were looking at moving. We lived in Bismarck, and we were looking at moving in a smaller community for the opportunity for our kids to be able to
Yeah,
play.
sure.
So I think they have the opportunity. It's just, what are you putting into it to better your opportunity to
yeah.
play? Is the way I feel about
Yeah.
it. And that was a big reason we moved here, was because our kids are going to have a better opportunity. They're going to be smaller class sizes. They're going to be, a lot of things. But it's the opportunity that I look at, not the
Guarantee.
right.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
That's my thought anyway.
yeah, and I agree. And I'll just point out that, like I say, you don't have to go very far to have a conversation like you just brought up of, let me tell you my story.
Right.
And as I hear those different stories, I hear a mix of that. But I think that it's incumbent upon the board and possibly the administration to, at least, it goes back to, what we've been doing, policies, procedures, philosophies, to establish that and have input from the community on that, and then be sure that that's being accomplished within the coaching staff and through the athletic directors and that. And you'll at least, even if you can't please everybody, which is not going to happen,
Right.
impossible, you'll at least have something to fall back on instead of opinion and just that's the way it is. Sorry.
Right.
Well, I
stuff.
know in the athletic handbook pretty much spells it all out, that junior high, we want equal playing time, and high school, you're going to play your best. I mean, we do have that in there.
Right. But is it
So-
adhered to?
But I think for the most part, the people who are angry are the ones who don't play. And whether that is, I don't know, some say it's coaches have favorites, some say this, some say that, but there's always going to be some kids that don't get as much playing time as others on the high school level.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And that's
And then, quite frankly, that's why you have 3 teams when you have an A, B,
Right.
and C. I mean,
right.
whether you're playing in varsity or you're playing in JV or you're playing in C squad. I mean, like right now, we don't have a C squad, so our JV kids are go, 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 go.
Mm-hmm.
And then varsity, when the kids that are on the JV spot go up to varsity, and I'm just speaking for girls basketball, obviously, when they move up, they might not see as much playing time as the people that only play varsity. And I don't know. I looked at it as, how much time are you spending on the court? What, to me, what level is it? I mean, if you feel like you need to get at a better level, then work. I mean, and every coach, there's not one coach that can't say that they don't have favorites. None. Zero. It's just how you show it, or if you show it, is the problem, I think.
Yeah.
And so I think that competition is healthy, because when you get older, it's your life skills are learned from some of this stuff. You know what I mean? That it's in a job, it's in everything.
Yeah.
Having bosses have favorites, whatever. I mean, and I think at times, are there valid concerns? Absolutely. But I think at the end of the day, most coaches, their goal and their job is to win games. And if they think they're putting the best players on the court or the field or the whatever, then that's what they do.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I disagree on a couple of those statements of that. At say a junior high level, a coach's job is to win games.
No. I'm not saying. I'm
I would
talking
disagree.
high school.
Oh, okay.
Just high school. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah, just high school.
Even there, I'd question if junior varsity, if the job is to win games, that would be 8th or 9th on a quick list of job. And again, like I said, I've never played basketball. I don't know. I haven't played very many team sports, but just I would probably put that way down on the list of what I think their job duties and description should be. So, but there is a disconnect among those expectations within the community, and there's a disconnect that I see through coaches and administration on that. And like I said, that is just 30,000 foot level watching this.
Sure.
See, I don't see the disconnect, because, like I said, most of the complaints we get, we don't get any complaints that we're playing everybody equal playing time.
Okay.
and because we're not. So the coaches are following that philosophy where junior high, yes, we try and get them as equal as they can, but high school, you play your best 5, or on the football field, you play your best 9, whatever it may be. And that's where the complaints come in, is where somebody didn't get in and parents or whoever thought they should have.
Okay, yeah.
And the tough thing is, like, Jess and I have always said, we're not going to complain about playing time because I don't know how you're acting at practice. I don't know how hard you're working. I don't know if you're acting out. I don't know if, there's a lot of things. Maybe you're not working as hard as you should be. I'm not there to see it. So I'm not going to be the one that goes in and says, my kid deserves to play. Because maybe that's a them issue that they need to correct.
Sure.
I would hope that the coach would communicate that with them.
Yeah.
And we always encourage both of our girls at the time to go talk to your coach and, tell them what you're feeling and express your concerns and ask what you can do to get better. But that's also the way I was raised too. So for me, it's normal. And I'm sure it's not for everybody, I guess.
I think there's something to be said about just getting some life skills out of it, like football, for example. If there's a kid that's 3 times your size and you weigh 90 pounds and you want to be a linebacker, but they put this other guy in front of you, I mean, sometimes your situation is just dependent on that life's not fair. I mean, you're smaller than this person, and it happens, but that's going to happen in life too, that you don't think it's fair. I mean, you may be a heck of a sport and put in way more effort than this guy that's twice as big as you or 3 times as big as you. But sometimes people get picked for other reasons. I mean, at least on the football side, I can't say that on the basketball side necessarily, unless you're 7 feet tall.
But I do agree it is separate than the co-op issue.
Yeah,
it needs to be.
Yeah, I just hope that we can go through this process and try to keep that separate. Yeah. One of the pieces, though, that I think we do need to discuss that hasn't been brought up enough, and I'm kind of concerned about it, is coaching itself. And what I mean, not individual coaches or people or this, I'm talking about how we're going to structure coaching and hiring the personnel in this co-op. What I gathered on Monday is an assumption almost of, well, it's all Richardton. We just, now, even, I don't fully understand if Hebron has concurring contracts that are probably going to be offered in, 6 weeks or 8 weeks, we should be offering concurrent contracts that involve coaching.
We don't have contracts on coaching.
We don't? Okay. Does Hebron? We don't do contracts at all on
No, we do work agreements.
Okay.
But they're not part of the continuing contract like teachers are.
Okay. So is there anything in either of the schools as far as policies, processes, or procedures that somehow guarantees a coach that has been coaching it's year to year?
Yeah. If I remember right, correct me if I'm wrong, I think between the Glenville and Hebron co-op, I think the majority of the coaches were from Glenville.
Correct.
I don't think that Hebron had many, if any, that were from Hebron.
Well, okay, fair enough. What I'm talking about is how you structure this thing. And one of the pieces that I'm concerned is we should attempt to address as much as we can come up with through idea fountains as possible. Otherwise, left to just deal with in the heat of the moment, we're gonna have problems.
Right, and I think that's something we can go over with them too at the next meeting. Is where are you guys at?
That's really the purpose of the joint meeting.
The first one was just kind of
there'll be like an athletic director from Hebron School and an athletic director from here. Like that's how it's been in other co-ops that I've been through. Okay.
Yeah, seeing those are the kind of things we definitely need to know.
Yeah,
because and we haven't, for whatever reason, we haven't seen much of it in our district, but in districts I've worked in before, and it was heavy that teacher coaches were, it's actually a draw for getting teachers. And of course, every small district struggles to get teachers.
That's what we'd love to have.
Yeah.
Teachers coaching.
Yeah.
Right. But, I think Hebron's got a few of those, I think. And so how does that look? And so with the fact that who's coaching becomes a very hot topic, we need to impartially, without even considering the current situations, develop what that looks like. Do we give a preference to a teacher coach? Would just be wise for business from a getting an employee contract in my mind, but we need to spell those pieces out, and I don't think we've got enough either input or I haven't been able to dig through this, but
Well, for the most part, the problem is finding somebody to apply.
well, sounds good. Yeah.
So, yeah.
But
For
and that's
coaches and
the
teachers.
majority,
Right.
but don't forget about the
Yeah.
minority of
Yeah.
that teacher coach that's been doing this for 25 years and goes, oh, we co-opted now.
Right.
I mean, that
Yeah.
was my
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think.
argument,
I
you know?
think
I mean,
obviously you're going to look at what Hebron's bringing to the table as well. And like I said, I think a lot of that is going to be the next meeting on talking through all that
Sure,
and
yeah.
trying to figure out what they have and what they'd like to do. And
Yeah.
I mean, I would hope that we're not narrow-minded to the point where we're going to say it's just us and that's it. You know what I mean? But I really think that that's really what the next meeting is kind of trying to spell out and go through and figure out, if we were to do it, how would we do it?
right.
The one thing I had thought of, because it was like a lot of stuff in here about wanting games just in Richardton, or like majority of games should be here. Like maybe somehow we could establish that like in the first year there's like majority of games here, and then like just keep splitting it, because I mean hopefully in like 4 years the co-op is not as a touchy of a subject as what it is at the current moment. So it's, I mean, if we do have the majority of the kids, or
Well, and I think those are things that we can address year by year too. I mean, just to see, we can gauge the temperature of everybody. If we decide to do this, I mean, I think it's something that we continue to
Right.
talk about.
Oh, absolutely.
So normally, is there 2 ADs? 'Cause I just
In one school or in a co-op?
either way.
In a co-op, normally there is. You'll have an AD from each school.
Okay, so
In
Is there
one
a-
school, there's normally one.
is there a hierarchy like because normally you have somebody you report to. Like I don't understand with having 2 ADs, whether it be now or at 2 different schools, who is the ultimate decider on stuff, and I feel like that gets messy.
Yeah. The way most of them do it is they go by sport. So they'll have one AD that's in charge of football. They'll have another AD. If there's 2, they'll be in charge of girls basketball.
Okay.
Or when then the other back to the one that's in football, they might be in charge of volleyball also. So they split sports. It's not like one's over everything.
Okay. I like that. That makes way more sense. But do ADs have to come from within the school, or how does that work?
No,
Again, I think it's
Yeah.
something that we
it's
encourage. and
yeah,
would like.
yeah. It's a lot easier because getting a hold of people or anything, then other schools can call the school to talk to the AD.
Okay.
Yeah,
and then for hiring coaches, ADs usually do the hiring, or coaches,
They don't
or
hire.
How does that work? Like,
Yeah.
like how does the hiring for the coaches usually work?
so the ADs and the principal usually do the interviews.
Okay.
So the ADs would get the applications, everything, and then they would meet with the principals to do the interviews, and then they would recommend to me who they would like to hire.
Okay.
And then I would bring that to the board when we have chosen on somebody.
Not always.
Not always, I know. We're changing that. We're working on that.
And then also, since we're on kind of hierarchy, in most systems that I've been familiar with, the superintendent and then its principals and AD are equals. It seems almost that we have ADs reporting to principals. Not that they don't have anything to do with extracurricular, but it seems like that puts a lot on one person. You know what
You
I'm
mean
saying?
the principal?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it is, the principals are above the ADs
And
if
see,
you're
most of
looking
the-
at a hierarchy.
Most of the school systems that I've known and been involved in have been the ADs and the principals are on the same level.
Are they
and they
larger
report.
schools?
I mean, a mixed size.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
think
Because
I
larger
agree
schools,
with you on that.
yeah, because
And in my opinion, the AD should report to the superintendent, not through a principal.
larger schools, the AD is the AD. That's all they do.
Well, yeah.
So, and to me, they would be more online with the principal. So in larger schools, yeah, the AD would report to the superintendent. But in small schools, usually your AD is going to be a teacher or somebody else, and then the building principal is still responsible for the building and its students. So that's why
Right, but
kind of the
if
AD is-
if that was an outside person, not a teacher working there, would that person report to the principal or the superintendent? generally it would be the superintendent, correct?
No, it still would be the principal first, but in a lot of schools, the principal is the AD. Also, so then if that's the case, then they would, yeah.
Well, again, I think it's just
So-
something we gotta establish.
It'd be like, well, kind of like the lead custodian in the building. They're going to report first to the principal before they go to the superintendent. Well, their first is going to be to the head maintenance, BJ. But yeah,
Well, I think let's get back on
Yeah.
this.
Well, one question on that though as well, is the AD contracts year to year then?
yes.
Okay.
Any extracurricular.
Okay, so what, I guess just asking a very broad general question on that, we don't see, whatever we do with consolidation, we don't see a conflict with what we're obligated for a contract?
No.
No.
Another big thing on here was like the transportation and like the
Oh, yeah.
busing stuff. When they were talking about that the other night, do we have extra buses, like 14 passenger? Because like if it's less than a 14 passenger, then anyone can drive it as long as they have their DOT, right?
As long as they do the
Certification.
annual training and they have their physical.
And do we have like extra little buses or short buses?
We have 2
Okay.
that aren't used for routes. And then I don't know how many, that'd be a good question to bring up tonight. I don't know how many Hebron has.
And can we make it like a requirement that coaches have to have like passed their DOT certification so they can transport? I mean,
Some schools have done that.
because they don't have to take their CDL. It's just to go to the doctor and then sit through a course.
Right, right.
Cause I'm sure buses fit under the bridge.
Yes.
They do.
Yep.
Okay, to the big
Yep.
ones.
The Raider bus will actually fit, but it's pretty close.
Slow it down.
Yeah. I
Sure you
wouldn't
don't have one.
I wouldn't pop the brakes or anything when you're under it.
Lower the airbags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, on that travel, a little more question on that. How does the state reimbursement work on that anyway? Does
It
it
doesn't.
really even matter? No, it doesn't. On athletics?
No,
We
We don't get paid for
all activities work, okay.
Yep, we get paid for routes
Right.
to school and
Okay.
yeah.
Do we have an estimate of all of what that financial impact would, I mean, we probably don't need it tonight, but do we have any feel of like what the financial impact might look like in some scenarios?
We haven't figured it out, but I know we spend a lot on athletics. So I mean, even sharing a little bit is going to help financially. But
Well, and at the end of the day, it's not going to add a lot of cost, right? I mean, because if we're going west for games, they're going to bring their kids over here, I would assume.
right,
And
right.
if we're going east for games, we'll probably stop and pick them up along the way.
right.
So I'm not sure how much of a cost that's going to add. You know, maybe going back and forth between schools is going to be
Yeah.
the biggest thing.
Yeah, practice is going to be the biggest,
Right.
the expenses. Yeah.
And we're not gonna lose, or do we gain, or I don't know how to ask it, but like the concessions and the gate money, like that was brought up too. Is that really gonna be a financial impact? Like,
No, well, yes and no, because the junior class uses the concessions for their senior trip. So if there's less home games, they don't have as many concessions, so they wouldn't be able to raise as much money as past classes would. But that's all in the activity budget, not in the general budget. So, in the same, or is the gate part of the general? No, yeah, the gate's an activity too, so. But there's some nights we don't even gate, we don't get enough to even cover the refs.
that's kind of, I was curious, like, I don't think we're making money on
No.
our gates by any means.
So, what kind of hand are we showing tonight? And what are we going in at?
Well, I know the main question is gonna be, do we wanna do it?
Well, I mean, I think it shows that we're wanting to do it, but I think that what their concessions are is what they're wanting is gonna impact this, and that's at a certain point. I don't know if all these people would agree if everything that they want gets agreed upon.
My feeling is that we talk through it. You know, it can change year by year. If we start off and the majority of the stuff is here, and if there is overwhelming response where we want to get some over there, or however it goes, then we talk through it and we figure it out. I don't think we go in and say all the home games are going to be here. You know what I mean? Like, that's a big ask.
So I stole this from, I shouldn't say stole it. Grant County and Mont Region
Sorry.
gave it to me. This is kind of, there should be two of them there.
Sorry.
And all I did with this is kind of fill it out for us to have like a guide to go through the meeting tonight if you wanted to. That way, I guess it keeps us on track for one thing, and then maybe I think that's answering a lot of your questions, Damien, about, you know, because coaches in here, who's going to hire the coaches, what's going on, and that at least brings it up, so then we can discuss it and see how that would work. So, I mean, and like I highlighted some areas where schools share expenses on a 50-50 equal basis. I mean, that's nothing in here has been approved, nothing in here is set in stone, so anything can be changed, but it's a starting point.
So I think a good starting point, rather than saying it's gonna be all our games here, is base the number of games on students. I think that's a fair enough deal where we're not asking for the world, but we're also giving them, if they're bringing 3 students over and we're bringing 19 seniors over or whatever it is in basketball, I mean,
Right.
yeah, it should reflect that somewhat, at least at the beginning, I believe. I mean,
I think so too. Yeah.
That's why I brought up the more here and then gradually. Like,
yeah. I think a good amount of the responses were saying that they wanted as many games or everything in Taylor. So I mean that's obviously on a lot of people's minds.
Right.
But I don't know that we can get 50% out of anybody.
Right.
Or get 100% out of anybody.
Yeah.
What's on your mind, John? Looks like you're sitting on
Taking it
something.
all in.
Sitting on something.
I'm assuming we're not sharing I mean, we'll share it orally, but do you want me to make copies of this and share it? Okay, that's what I was assuming.
Although I do think whatever decision we do make and when we do make it, I think this should be made available to parents. Because I had numerous people reach out to me and say that the decision was already made.
Right.
And we were just doing a formality of having the meetings and the input. So
yeah,
there's a lot of people that are thinking we've already made up our mind, which I don't believe. I had my mind made up as well as the rest of you. I don't think that your minds were made up prior to any of this.
Well, I think, are we live stream right now?
Yeah.
I mean, you just made a good statement. I guarantee you my mind is not made up. I don't know, are we posting minutes?
Yeah.
Go on record as saying that the board is at odds. Cheerleading got brought up in the survey. That's interesting.
They have
even use
cheerleaders.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have we ever had verbal interest or students come and say, hey, well, okay, yeah. Is it cheerleading like just the at sports lead the crowd, or is it cheerleading like the throw people in the air and catch them?
I don't know if they do.
The traveling thing.
Yeah, well, I know they compete like at state, and Hebron does. So I know that, what's that called when they do the lifts? They have to have a special certification.
Oh, okay.
But they do that also.
So a few people have put in there that a big thing is if we would get a big bump from Halliburton or whatever's going on over in Richardson, and that if we do jump divisions or
You mean
level,
Chivo?
what's that? I don't know.
That and
Oh,
then,
now
yeah.
we're out here.
Oh, the sand.
Really?
And
Sand yard.
there's been some concern brought up that we're going to be bumped up. Is that something that anybody else is having issues with? Or I mean, I don't think that we want to take our kids up the division, but I'm not sure that it'll happen in 3 years. But if it does,
I would say that from what I've seen of the concerns, if that happens, having the co-op will not affect the concerns. What I mean is if we, so say that happens, truly I would think that really if GVO gets this government contract and that, it's going to be 3 years before housing, unless you get a Watford City killed your man cap thrown. If that happens, we have to deal with that anyway, right? And then they're part of our sports, so you would actually in that instance you would diminish the quantity of Hebron participants, you know, their influence or their percentage. Now, however, the other piece, the unknown, is if it actually happened in Hebron and you co-op, that would actually be the bigger challenge in my mind.
Well, in
Is
the
get a
first
lot
3
of
years,
residents
they
in
have to put
Hebron for
30
some
kids
reason.
down through 12.
Either one,
And
no
we're
matter which
co-op.
district they're in, if it puts us over the number, it puts us over the number to go
Correct,
upper
but
class.
if we have something major that puts us over the number, that's irrespective of the co-op with Hebron anyway. I doubt you could like magically be like, oh look, these 4 Hebron co-op, you know,
Yeah.
puts us over versus a surge of some sort of an industry.
Well, the other thing addressing that concern too, I mean, 61% of the people said that they're not concerned about it.
yeah, that's true.
I mean,
Fair enough.
That was the one that I think had the biggest margin difference too.
And I mean, and that could be something too that we talk to them about, because even within that 3 years, you can ask for dissolution, but both schools have to agree. So I mean, if something like that were to happen, would they agree to the dissolution?
Well, and they would have to bring, because it's like what, 30 kids away from being 9 through 12. So that
Right.
those kids coming in would have to be 30 kids in 9 through 12. That would
Right.
bump us up a class. Not saying that that wouldn't happen in a year or two, but
Right.
you know, like
Yeah. Yeah, because you don't count just their kids that play, so it's their
Right.
whole 9 through 12. So I think they have 41 kids in 9 through 12. So
Anything else we want to touch on?
Tonight is more informational than anything, correct?
Yeah, no decision will be made tonight.
no,
Right, but
Yeah.
just like that's the whole idea behind this is just to get information to both sides.
right.
Kind of talk it through if we decided to pursue this.
What do things look like? Yeah.
Are you able to add a clause in this agreement that would say that if the enrollment numbers go over the threshold for the next class, that each school would agree to dissolve it? That's
Yeah.
something we could
As
look at
long
doing.
as they agreed with it as well.
Yeah.
And that's a following year thing, correct?
Yeah, I don't think they'd know the number until the following year.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's say that the number did go over that and we did decide to dissolve. Would we have that 1 year bumped up? Or would we remain the same? Because are they basing it off of the year prior's number still? Or once that's dissolved, do they not count their numbers in it anymore?
Yeah, once it's dissolved, their numbers don't count in it anymore.
You know what I'm saying though? For the
Right.
following year, yeah.
Right.
Several board members and administrators came across this full support of it at a meeting last night. This was disappointing, and they were there to hear community's opinions. I tried to be as silent as I could, and I didn't have an opinion one way or the other, so I don't know how I gave that impression off, I guess.
What is this talk about 100+ jobs coming in? Is that Jibo and Halliburton? That's the
Probably Arden Mills is probably gonna expand a little too. I think.
which one?
Arden Mills, Stone Mills, so
Yeah.
Is that what they're considering the mulch plant? Because I saw something in there about a mulch plant.
that's
coming.
Halliburton's plant out here.
Oh,
Because
that's
now I'm
Halliburton.
far less concerned about the co-op than if that's substantiated.
Where are you gonna put an extra 100 kids at?
Yeah, that's really golly.
It's just
Is that number just thrown out there, or is that you
the
guys
first
already-
I've heard about it was in the survey. I
Was it?
didn't know
Okay.
that was
So
I hadn't heard that
we
number
don't have
anywhere.
anything like Jibo's never come out and said. Right, we know. Okay. Yeah.
I also haven't been.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have anything else we want to address? Everybody good? Okay, well, let's adjourn this meeting then.